What's cracking, guys? Bruce Madsen here, your host show of Metric Scout Fantasy Football. I got more film studies for you today from last week's preseason games. Today we're going to talk about Romeo Doubs. He's been the talk of camp, talk of Twitter, talk of them late round rookies. Romeo Doubs has been an important guy this offseason. We're going to go over that touchdown catch. But before we dig into this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So I'm dropping a lot of film reviews on these players. One day I could be going over one of your favorite players. I also go over a lot of camp highlights, do a lot of fantasy football analysis. I try to keep things different compared to other fantasy football channels and everything else. But we got to talk about Romeo Doubs today. Romeo Doubs, however you want to say it. You hear it all different ways. The announcers here said Doubs with more like a Dubs at the end. So it's different. Correct me in the comments. Go ahead. But at the top of your screen, in the slot, we have old Romeo right up there. It's first quarter, 5:49 left, 4th and 3. Let's look at the beginning of this route here as he comes off the line of scrimmage. First thing we notice here is heads up on the DB. Let's look at the DB real quick, though. Is the inside shade, outside shade? It looks like, from this angle, looks like he's a little bit inside shade. If you look from that outside knee of his compared to the inside knee of Doubs. Looks like he's inside shade a tiny bit. Doubs is going to work off that. At least he's supposed to. Comes up, heads up to him, and inching his way to be more flush with him. Again, when you're looking like this, you're not trying to tell your moves. Let him know what you're doing. You're really trying to sell or not tell until it's time to. So here we go. We're approaching the DB. We're coming up to him. DB's flat-footed right now, and you can tell Doubs is making that move on the fade. Works up, and look at this. Even, yeah, leaving. He got into that separation, closed the gap, got into that cushion there, was able to jet past the DB. This isn't fancy. You don't have to be fancy. You just have to be skilled with it. You just have to be able to do the basics. Off the line, straight up, inside shade here. So again, he's kind of veering a little bit inside, a shade bit. If I'm seeing this right there. Right there. Veers it. And see that plant step right there, inside, boom, right here. Hits that plant step. Hits that plant step. DB takes that little tiny step to the inside. Shouldn't matter much, but then bam, he reacts really quick, and DB's got to react with him. Even, you leaving. Doubs, if you give him the chance, he's going to blow by you. He's going to blow by you. Not the fastest guy in the league, but he's dangerous downfield. He is a dangerous downfield threat. Now look at the separation come up. You let him get with you. You let him get even with you. He is going to create that separation. He's going to get downfield. He's going to get that target. He is money downfield. That's what we liked about him coming out of college. And he's not a flashy guy when it comes to the route running. It's bam, bam. And then if you allow him to get even with you, you allow him to get close to you, he is a threat to scoot past you, get that separation, get downfield. He is a deep ball guy. He excels at getting downfield, winning with his size. That's decent ball skills. And that's what he's good at. Bam. Look at that plant step right there. Boom. Hits it. Watch that DB react a tiny bit. Right there. Momentum going inside. A DB, watch him. Reacts a little bit inside, and then bam. Doubs crosses his face. And that's all he needed. That's all he needed to win. Bam. He's got the speed to get past him. He's got that edge. Romeo Doubs, dude. Romeo Doubs is good. He's good. He's a good prospect. Went to a small school in Nevada and had good tape. And the thing about his game is if he's on the field, he's getting targets. His ability to get downfield and get targets means that he's going to end up getting a lot of air yards. Getting a lot of air yards, work rate standpoint is good for fantasy football because that means you're constantly getting targeted downfield. You're constantly getting those money targets where you can get those deep ball attempts like what we saw in this play, and that could accumulate for some big splash matchups for him. So as long as he's on the field, as as long as he's getting targeted. And you know he's going to be used on the deep ball. You know that. That's what he was using in college. We're seeing him get used like that now. We saw it on the highlights. We're seeing it on the tape. We know he's an air yards guy. That means he's going to be able to give us some of those splash plays, and we're going to see that in fantasy. Redraft-wise, you can burn a late pick on it. I don't see why not. You can if you want. Those late picks, most of them are going to bust on you anyways. Why not take the flyer, see what happens? His price tag's going to go up by the week. The more hype that goes around him. Dynasty, his values went up a lot. Should have bought him in rookie drafts earlier. If you want to pay for him, go ahead. Kick the tires, see what's happening. Some guys are probably going to sell. And if some guys sell, that doesn't mean they're selling high. That doesn't mean they're always selling high. Sometimes they sell at the right price or low. And that's just what happens. They're just trying to get out of the asset. So you just got to kick the tires and see what happens because every league's different. Every league's different. We covered that on the channel when we're looking at dynasty trades. Guys you think are sells because their value increased actually get sold a little lower than what you think because guys are just trying to get out of that asset and they're not really maximizing it. Not everybody does it. It's not what you think psychological for every fantasy football manager in the dynasty world. Packers fans, you got yourself a damn good wide receiver prospect, gets downfield, make plays happen, and that's what you need from these young guys coming up. I'm excited to see what he does, how he transitions to the NFL game. But before you guys head out today, make sure you smash that like button. It helps me out on the algorithm. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because I'm going to come at you with more clips, more highlights, more film review, more fantasy football analysis, and all that. I want to thank you again. I'll catch you on the next vid.